There's one glaring issue with the Hornets, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. There's one glaring issue. There's only one, because they take the second most threes, frequency of threes in the league, and they make them at the highest percentage. But I don't think that's unsustainable. I think they have elite 3-point shooters, and so it would make sense. They have guys who shoot from range, and they have three of the best shooters in the league. All three of these guys, Brandon Miller, Concanippo, and LaMelo Ball, shoot nearly 90% free throws. Like this is who they are in terms of shooting talent, in terms of true shooting ability. This is who they are. Here's the problem. Against the Hornets from January 1st, teams are shooting 32% from three. This is the worst percentage in the NBA across that time frame. And to me, that part is likely unsustainable. They are also shooting, not only are they shooting 32% against the Hornets, from the corners, teams are shooting 31.8% against the Hornets from three. That is not something that I think is sustainable. That is not something that I think is representative of the Hornets defense. I don't think the Hornets defense is so elite at closing out or preventing teams from making 3-pointers that they're going to shoot that lower percentage. That's an insanely low percentage. And I don't think that that's sustainable. So I think their defense is not as good as it has been. I think their offense is as good as it has been. And so I think if they get a particular matchup, I think they match up particularly poorly with the Detroit Pistons. And so if they end up with the Pistons, if they end up in the 8 playing the 1, I think that really hurts their chances. But I think if they end up anywhere else, I absolutely give them a shot at Eastern Conference contention.
Yeah, I mean, when you were saying their one weakness, I was actually curious where you were going with that, because if this was 2 weeks ago or whatever, we would have talked about the non-LaMelo minutes. And that's crazy. Like, that's remains crazy to me that a team that good, like Khan's been amazing, Miller's been amazing. How many Hornets fans know that on the season, when Khan and Miller play without LaMelo, they're losing those minutes by 12 points per 100 possessions. Like, it's as good as those guys are, and they're amazing. And again, they're perfectly synergistic with LaMelo. LaMelo still drives the ship, and now they have Kobe White, and all of a sudden, the non-LaMelo minutes are starting to look a lot better. That's huge for them. It's huge for their ceiling to, as we've covered in countless ways, if you crush the minutes when LaMelo plays, if you can just figure out how to tread water in the minutes he doesn't play, it's clearly a title team. It's clearly, we have seasons worth of data that when LaMelo Ball plays basketball, your team's can be very good, no matter how he shoots. And that's another area, by the way, when we're talking about a playoff ceiling, offenses all go down. They all regress. LaMelo already has the hardest shot quality in the league, and as has been covered ad nauseum, is not an efficient individual player. His efficiency is not going to go anywhere. Like, okay, maybe he'll run into some negative variance and have some tour date shooting nights, but like in a vacuum, if you're projecting forward, you expect his shooting numbers to stay around the same. His offensive impact is going to be elite because he draws so much attention. He's such a special passer. I think LaMelo is like primed and ready to play in the playoffs, even if some of the final box scores don't look so pretty. If you're out there and this is going to be your first time seeing him, that's just what's going to happen when LaMelo Ball plays basketball. He takes a lot of tough shots, and that's a part of the package. It's baked in. The defense thing is tough because intuitively you look at their roster. Miles Bridges has not been a great defender this year. You look for him to be like that sort of glue guy, take on the challenge of guarding the opposing team's best player if it's a bigger wing. Brandon Miller, he has some offensive responsibilities when LaMelo's not on the court. You want to run the offense through him. The Hornets are very, very incentivized to see what Miller can do with the ball in his hands, see how high he can fly there. So yes, you want him to sort of take that Paul George path of being an elite two-way player, but it might be a lot to ask of him to expect him to carry the burden when LaMelo's not out there, or co-carry it with Kobe White, and then also turn around and guard the other team's best player. That's tough. And so I agree with you that the defense as it is right now, I mean, I think what are they since this? They're 5th in defense since January 3rd when this streak really started. I don't know how authentic that is, but the thing is to sort of play devil's advocate with myself and with what you're saying, if the offense is as good as we believe, the requisite level of defense doesn't have to be that high. Yes, when they're a top 5 defense, when the numbers say they're a top 5 defense, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get the best team in the league because their offense, when they're healthy, is just almost unstoppable. But to be a true contender in a vacuum, you don't have to have the best offense and a top 5 defense. That's not best team in the league. That's one of the best teams of a generation. Like, you just don't see that often. For the Hornets to be a legitimate contender, they really only need like a league average defense. And I think they can pull that off. I think that people didn't expect it coming into the season. That's probably why he wasn't like a lock top 2 pick. Con Knipple has tread water on that end. He's been passable. He's smart. He's high IQ. He's in the right places. Obviously, there are some certain limitations, but for the most part, he, I think, has exceeded expectations defensively. I hope we have enough time to talk about, just do a segment on him offensively, because speaking of unprecedented, what the hell is he doing? Like, you texted me the other day, is this the greatest rookie season of all time? Like, I don't even know. This might be one of the greatest rookie seasons we've ever seen from an impact
offensively in particular, but yeah.
I think that LaMelo has put together some of his best defensive stretches when he's locked in during the stretches. He's playing some of the best defense of his career. I think Miller's a good defender. I think Moussa Diabate tries really hard. He's like, he so much of what they do well is based around his skill set. They rely on him to protect the rim. He's their offensive rebounding guy. He's low-key super important to this team. And all of this is to say, do I think they're a top 5 defense? No, I think shooting variance has played a part in that. I totally agree with you there. But if LaMelo can keep this up, and I believe he can, I believe we have more than enough evidence to prove that he can. If LaMelo can keep this up and they can be the elite offense that we know they can be, that they've proven they can be, I think the Hornets can play the requisite level of defense to make it tough for any team.